again. You know what I find amazing? There's a lot of things I find amazing. Right now, there's an organization, if you want to call it that, that's trying to recall Sheriff Joe. Now, Sheriff Joe won the election in Arizona, Maricopa County. All right, he won the election. And people are trying to recall him because they don't like him. At the same time, in the White House, we've got someone that obviously stole the election. He didn't win the election. He stole the election. There's all kinds of evidence of voter fraud. All kinds of it. And what's Congress doing about it? Nothing. Zero. There's not even any mention of it. No. Everything's copacetic, just rolling along, I mean, this is totally, completely insane. Now, you take, for example, in Florida, there's that trailer park that had like 7 registered voters, and it generated 900 votes. How is that possible? The focus shouldn't be on Sheriff Joe to remove Sheriff Joe, who was duly elected by the citizens of Maricopa County. No. The focus should be on Bozo, because he does not belong in the White House. He is destroying this country as each and every day goes by. And what is Congress doing about it? Nothing. You know why? Our Congress is dysfunctional. When you have people that have been there 40 and 50 years, 40 and 50 years, I mean, they're not adding any value. All they're doing is milking the system. That's all they've done for 40 or 50 years. You get a guy like Ted Cruz in there, he shakes up the organization. But they don't like being shook up. They like things status quo, Just get along, just get along. That's all they want to do. Get along, little doggy. That's all they want to do. They don't care about the American people. They don't care about their oath of office. And I've said this on a number of videos in the past. When we elect a representative, whether it's a Democrat, you know what the last 3 letters in Democrat consist of? I wonder if that's a coincidence or that's God's design. Anyway, when we elect either a Democrat or a Republican, we expect them to abide by their oath. We also expect them to adhere to the values that we have, which is why we elected them. But that isn't what happens. Far too often, once they get into a position of power, they either forget who put them there, or they could care less. Perfect example of that is Jeff Flake. Jeff Flake, as a congressman, more than not, did not vote party line. He goes with the other side. Another guy that does that quite often is McCain. Remember when McCain went completely ballistic? Yeah. He went completely ballistic on Michelle Bachmann. And that's when Michelle Bachmann simply asked a question, She was a little bit concerned about Huma Abedin and her association with the Brotherhood. That's a fair question. That's a fair concern, considering Huma Abedin's entire family belongs to the Brotherhood. Her brother does, her mother did, or does, her father did when he was alive, and guess what? So did she. Now, having her being really tight with the Secretary of State, Hillary, I mean, they were like this. They were traveling all over the world. Where were they mainly focused? Well, Muslim countries. I bet you the reason that is because Huma wanted to expose Hillary to the virtues of Islam. The peaceful, loving religion. Yeah. And McCain, he also went completely crazy on Rubio. Yeah, when Rubio questioned Chuck Hagel. Yeah. I mean, they don't support their own. They attack their own. That's what they do. I don't know. I think, there's talk about a third party. I think we already have a third party. And it's called Rhino. You know what I mean? And what the Rhino does is they go acey-deucey, like Obama, You don't care where he gets it from as long as he gets it. That's the same thing with a lot of these Republicans, like McCain. They're acey-deucey. You know what I mean? In a different kind of way. Guy like McCain, his whole focus is to be in front of the camera. He loves being in front of the camera. He loves being on KFYI. He just loves it. He also likes going to those town hall meetings because he can talk down to people. If he doesn't like what you ask, he'll just tear you apart. Yeah, he does it all the time. Yeah, well, that's Senator McCain, you know. You gotta admit, for a guy that was like 800 and, what was it, 92 or 94 out of 896 cadets, what's that tell you about the guy? Anyway, it's just a joke. It's a complete joke. But you know what? The joke's on us, because we allow these bozos to get away with what they get away with. Pretty nuts, isn't it? What do you think?